Hello everyone, welcome to today's video. Today I'll be looking at one of my students' games that they played online. This video is being uploaded, or should be uploaded, on August 16th. And the day before, I'm actually going to be at a tournament. So after this video, look forward to some more tournament game reviews if those are videos that you enjoy. Without further ado, let's get into this review. The reason why I want to review this game is my student, that is, has a very good position. Their opponent has a lot of weak groups. My student has more points, but somehow, some way, things start to fall apart. And so I wanted to highlight, with this game, that is, how to handle a game where your opponent makes a lot of weak groups. And kind of what you should look for, how you should handle things, what you should think about. So without further ado, let's look at the game. Both my student and their opponent are 2Q. My student is white, their opponent was black. So we get a large pincer, and black does a large knight's enclosure. And we'll notice that black is a player that gets very uncomfortable if their opponent starts to get points on the board, which I'm sure you've all played players like that. Because after this kick, black just switches directions, and then even when white makes this beautiful tiger's mouth, black jumps into the corner. Yeah, there's no reason not to, especially if you're going to play this this large knight's enclosure. Like, there's no reason not to try to put pressure on this single stone here somehow. But in the game, because again, I think black is thinking, and you'll see why I think this with black's play. Why black didn't want this is because white starts to build the upper right. So black says, nope, I'm not going to give you that. But in return, we get this result. Black Hanes, white cuts, black Ataris, and white gets a beautiful outside and Sente. So yeah, things are going well so far. White plays here, which again, anywhere here is technically okay. You could even approach the lower left. You could split the bottom, play here. This is fine. And instead of, and I always say, when you're playing, especially in the opening, you should always be trying to build before you reduce and or invade. You almost want to view it as a game of chicken almost, of who's going to crack first and who's going to invade first. Because generally speaking, when you invade, and let's say you get under attack, the person who is attacking has control of the game. So yeah, so when black plays here, this is technically not a bad way to play, but black is more reducing than building. Black should instead really be trying to, okay, let me build the bottom somehow, right? Or maybe approach this side, right? Black should be trying to build a large area so that if white ever feels the need to come in, right, then black can attack white and black can take control. And then maybe later, depending on what happens here, black can play up top. But when black immediately plays here, we can see, like, okay, you're probably going to live here, but how many points can you make here? It's not like this has weakened white's upper right. White's upper right is very strong. Black's playing in a small area. In fact, if you just look, or if you just count how big each side is, so if you count this, the distance between the cornerstones, so that distance, this distance, and this distance, the top side is technically the smallest. And yet black is prioritizing that area as opposed to the bigger areas. So white just keeps black separated, okay, and then white approaches the corner, okay? Black pincers, and then white attached here. This is possible. Black takes the corner, plays here, and then white Hanes here. This could have been a slight mistake, nothing huge. But black could have, again, taken the side here. And taking the side would, again, affect what happens in the lower left fight. Because if something like this were to happen, white can't cut here because of the double Atari problems. Even if white can cut here or Atari here, again, not sure exactly what would happen. Let's just say something like this happens. Black would be then able to fight very strongly in the lower left. And while locally this might be an okay result for white, black getting stones here is very powerful. So yeah, so I think instead white should, because we'll see black extends here and white's able to jump here. I think white should just jump here immediately. White doesn't do this because white didn't want to see black descending here, but I'm not sure white has time to prevent this. Because even if black does this here now and white does this knight's move, these two stones are not that valuable because this cut at r4 is not really that useful. So it's not like these two stones are doing that much. Okay. We get that. Black extends. Okay. So white got a slightly better result, but that's fine. Black attaches on top and then plays this move. So you can see black really likes territory, yet, as we'll see, keeps trying to take away white's territory. So black should definitely just stand up like this. Should definitely stand up like this. Because let's say black didn't pincer, but instead black played this variation, which again is more common on the from the 4-4 stone than the 3-4, but you'll see why I mentioned this. If white goes somewhere else, how black would attack this shape is by playing at h4. This is the move black would play. Because even if white stands up, white has problems here. White has problems here. If white hanes, there's cuts. There's problems with cuts here. So if white has to play this kind of move, yeah, it's very ugly. Even if this cut doesn't work because black has own problems here, even though, again, with the weakness here, like, the corner is not that big compared to black's huge outside. But even if black was worried about that, black could stand up like this, and even if white pokes here, black can still peep like this. And again, it's just white shape gets very bad very quickly. So that's why having h4 would be the move to attack, as opposed to, let's say, pushing from behind, or, you know, sometimes I see this move where white attaches on top. So yes. So with that being said, black has that move already. So black should just play this stand-up, and then black would already have that shape, like in that variation. But black goes here, and white gets this huge Atari, and now black has just separated themselves. And this would be okay if black, once again, because e3 is weak. E3 is weak, so black, you can cut here. Sometimes cutting here is definitely possible, but white will Atari. When you take white Ataris again, you could leave it. Leave this maybe jump here or jump here. Again, it's kind of Mii. If you jump there, white will jump here, and if you jump here, white will jump here. But regardless, you can capture the stone. But in the game, black peeps here. Black peeps here and just helps white shape. Don't peep where you can cut is a general rule of thumb. And even if you don't want to give white that Atari, you can also play this kind of, I know I just said don't peep where you can cut, but here you can see white gets forcing moves and it weakens that stone, but you can play this move to keep yourself from not getting sealed in, but also not giving white really good shape there. So you can also play this move. But playing here just helps white. But then black goes here. And this starts the problems for white. Not a huge problem, but it is important to mention. Black plays here, hitting white's weakness here, of course, at n3, right? And so the question is, how does white continue? How should white continue? And if you were white, how would you continue? How would you continue here? Well, in the game, white goes elsewhere and plays here. This is a very important move. Black attaches, white hanes, black pulls back, white connects, and allows black to get this cover here. And this is very painful. Now again, it's not like white got nothing on the left side, but this starts a trend in this game where white is weak on the bottom. And so if black is weak on the bottom, and if white just keeps black separated, black is so weak on the bottom, there's a key weakness here, which is why this peep isn't that helpful, because it just leaves, there's still a weakness at J3, but there's a weakness here, which threatens to connect either way, and you're keeping black weak. There's no way black can get a move on the left side while the bottom side is getting surrounded. Even if black can get this move, white can lean on the left side to attack indirectly the bottom side. And also, black is not fully alive on the right side either. Now, black has 5 groups on this board, but and it's one of black's stronger groups, but you never know what could happen if down the road you get this extension here. There's weaknesses at R5, S5, right? Black's base is weak here. But allowing black to connect here not only seals you in, but connects black. So black is now fully connected. White is pushed down to the second line, and black has one less thing to worry about. So this is a white just, even if here you wanted to play this, you could play this now. If black cuts, it's not like you lost that much. It would be as if, black extends here. So it's not that big of a loss. And the bottom side is what's important. So again, before any of your move, you should ask yourself a few questions. Are any of my groups weak? And technically, like you could say white's group is weak on the bottom left, so white's helping it, but the key is you need to be as efficient as possible. So another thing you should keep in mind is the strength of stones is relative to nearby enemy stones. So if I can make black weak on the bottom, that inadvertently makes my lower left group stronger. Because it's not like black can go on an all-out attack here while black is weak here. So always remember the strength of stones is relative to nearby enemy stones. So yeah, black covers, okay. But then white can go elsewhere and white goes here. Now, this is not a perfect example, but I was always taught whenever you have a 4-4, you never want an extension of the same distance. And let me just show why for a second. Because whenever your opponent 3-3s you, you want to know which way is better. That's actually why in a lot of pro games you will see like this. I think I saw it in like 2 pro games, like tournament games, where black's second move was 3-3. Because right now, which way is it better for white to block? Well, it's symmetrical, so it's hard to pick. So following that same logic, if black, let's say, I don't know, plays here, and then plays this one, and then let's say white gets this move, right? Something like this. And then white plays here. Well, which way is it better for black to block? Now, you could say because of the F3 stone, it's better to block on the bottom, and I would generally agree. But the idea is when it's equidistant with whichever way black blocks, it's hard for black to pick a good move here, or the best move, that is. Because in a lot of situations, you want to be able to find the best move, right? And so if there's not a best move here, it's not, you have some problems. Not major problems, but you have some problems. And so in the game here, again, not the best example, because kind of like in that example I just showed, obviously the left side is bigger. But even with that being said, if you block this way, you're going to make the C13 stone over-concentrated, right? Because if you play this variation here, right, how do you fix this weakness here? It's just it's not easy. And same thing if you do the other way, right? So that's why you want to try to avoid playing shamaris or extensions from a 4-4 that are equidistant. So even here, if white had just gone here, or even just played a little bigger, or even just, played a side move or did something else, it would be very obvious now, oh, which way do I block? Oh, I would block this way now. So yeah, you want to watch out for that. It's not a major thing, but it is something to keep in mind. So when you have a 4-4, don't try to have extensions or shamaris on both sides that are equidistant, because it's hard to decide which way is better. But black doesn't do that. Black goes here, so white Hanate. And again, black does something very strange here. Like, where would you play here as black, right? Black cuts here, allows white to play this move and to get this Atari. Now, I don't think this idea is necessarily bad, but it's definitely a little peculiar, right? Now, obviously, black didn't want to play here, but that goes, maybe black should just Atari then. Okay, we get this, the cuts, and here, white should just Atari like this. White should just Atari like this. Because it's hard for black to actually fight any coast here, even if white connected next. Like if black wants to fight this ko, well then, like black would be losing the whole corner. It'd be kind of like a flower-ish ko. It's honestly, both sides probably don't care that much about it, but I would be very happy to take this big corner. But even if black connects and we connect, black's going to end up getting gote because this corner can die. This corner can die. So if black goes elsewhere, we can play at a A18, and this is a dead corner. If black goes here, we can go down, and black can't make two eyes. So, yeah, very tricky for black. So, yeah, in the game, white just connects. Not horrible, but what it means is, like, if we were able to capture the stone, we would like to be able to capture it with a Ponuki. But once we connect here, we actually make C18 small, so black comes out here. And once again, if we are going to do this, I would just keep black sealed in. Cover here, double Hane here. Again, black can't capture this because the 3 stones are in danger on the other side. So black has to connect. We can connect, and black still probably wants to add a move here. And then we have our huge wall, and I see a target up top, so if we don't need to do anything drastic, but even if we just shoulder hit, right, how is black going to reduce the left side while we attack the top side? And even though black's starting to get all 4 corners, top left is not that big, upper right's not big, lower left's not that big. Like, black has how many groups? 5 groups? And could have been 6 if white had poked through, so yes. In the game, white just cuts, though, which can be good, but black's able to run out. Yes, black runs out, and if you've seen my videos, I talk about this a lot. When you have this shape here, the 1-space jump of both colors, you want to think about, and let's say from black's perspective, you want to think about 1-space jump, you want to think about knight's move, and you want to think about attachment. You do not want to play this diagonal. And so what that means is, like, black can't do this 1-space jump, black can't do this knight's move, black can maybe do this attachment, but, like, I think black's going to have a lot of problems here. So what that means is if I can't do any of those, I should treat these lightly. Black can maybe split here. By splitting here, again, we are isolating this lower left, but also we have created this connection where if we have 3 stones or a 3-space jump and our opponent's in the middle, we can threaten to connect under. So we can use that fact to maybe threaten to connect under. So yeah, if white has to, I'm not sure. Yeah, I'm not sure the best way to fix. We'll just say white fixes like this and black can run out. Okay, we're treating those stones lightly. They're not fully surrounded yet, and we can maybe even attack this left side here. I see a nice move here approaching for black next, so white has to be careful. But black runs out. Because again, when black runs out here, how many points does black make with these stones, right? Basically none. They would just basically be dame. So white's building a big left side. But okay, this is everything. Like, white could have maybe found slightly better results there, but this is still a good result for white, of course. Black has a running group, not making any points. White's building the left side. But again, kind of like on the bottom, where is the key move here in this fight? Well, whatever white does, white needs to keep these 2 groups separated. And generally speaking, let's label these A and B. If you want to attack B, you should lean on A. And if you want to attack A, you should lean on B. That's the general rule of thumb. Now, again, there's nuance in that in terms of, okay, which one's getting me points, which one's weaker, right? Because oftentimes a group's going to be weaker than the other. And I would consider, if we do label these again, A and B, I consider A much weaker than B, because B at least kind of has a base, whereas A doesn't have any base. So I would lean towards B to attack black's upper left. And this is how you want to fight. You want to push your opponent towards their friends, right? That's what white's doing. And then right at the end, cut their connection. That is proper fighting. So, like, for example, let's say here, right? If white had instead, I don't know, cap like this, right? And then we got this kind of fight instead. Well, now that you didn't force black towards their own group, the stone at F14 here is pretty far away. And even if we add moves like this, well, black is still pretty far away, right? So even if we try to get some dual attack going, well, it's just, our stones are too far away to be that effective. So that's why this is good direction. We're forcing our opponent to get close so that, for example, let's say black stands up. Well, now when I jump, K14 has a direct effect on black's upper left. So that's why you want to force your opponent towards their group and then right at the end, cut it off. So again, if you want to attack B though, you could play this shoulder hit. So again, and you can see I'm attacking this side while I'm directly attacking the upper left, but my main goal is actually to attack the upper right and vice versa. I would do this one. Because again, if black ever pushes, I will extend here. And yeah, and again, the key is we can keep attacking. And so we're still building the left side, but we are still keeping black separated, so both sides are weak. What you're basically doing is you're giving black more things to juggle. Obviously, most people can juggle one ball at a time. And again, even 2 balls is, not that difficult. But once you start adding more, people start to drop them. So yeah, that's how you want to view it. You want to keep them separated. In the game, though, even you could play a move like J17 as well. This is a very calm way of playing. In the game, though, white just jumps here. White just jumps here and allows black to get not only this shoulder hit, but then this push. So now black has started to connect. Black has now started to connect. And again, technically, because again, you want to look at shape, so technically black has a knight's move here. And so if white ever gets a move around G15, black actually is still weak. It's not super simple though, because an order matters here. But if, black can play this move and then this move, obviously these would be great exchanges for white on the left side, but like black's going to probably be able to connect somehow. It won't be pretty, but black can connect somehow. So black's not fully connected though, but black has started to connect is the key. So yeah, and so right here, white then slides here. It's not bad, right? You're taking out the base, black has to cover. But then white pulls back like this, and this is so passive. This is so passive. Now, it's not the worst move. It is not the worst move, but it would be much better for white to at least play L18. Because now if black hanes, then we will now, instead of playing J18, we will now play J17. And this creates a cut at K16. So this would be Sente. But if black does something else, now when we get this hane, we are now, right, we're taking away black's base. So even though black has connected, well, now that we've taken out the base, now black's big one group is now weak. So it's very hard to ignore this move. But when white goes here, black can, black has the right idea. Well, I shouldn't say the right idea, but black can ignore, and black plays here. So it's again, you can see what I mean by black. It's very much like I don't want white or my opponent to get any points anywhere. And when you play this kind of style, even though with how the game's going and the missed opportunities white has had, white is still leading this game. And it's because if you look at black's groups, they're all small or worth not that many points, right? The upper right's not worth much. Lower left's still not worth much. Even though black connected, black's not making any points with these stones. So yeah, but this is important to note. Whenever you reduce and or invade, you want to look for 1, follow-ups, but 2, the sector line, right? So this would be white's sector line. And so we can see black technically played a little bit inside. Yeah, so remember that shape I was talking about? And I'll show it here. Let's say black covered, or let's say black went here, like this. So we have this 1 space jump of both colors, right? What are the moves you want to look for? Let's say from black's perspective, you want to look for the 1 space jump, knight's move, and this is in relation to this marked black stone, the attachment, and you do not want to do this diagonal. So the reverse of that is, let's say you're white. If you can force your opponent to play this diagonal, kind of like white did on the upper left, then that's good for you. So when black plays here, white has the right idea and caps. This is how you want to play. And again, let's look at the options black has. Black can go this way technically, but black's friends aren't that way and it wouldn't really be accomplishing much. So let's look at the going towards the bottom side. This would be the 1 space jump, not really doing much. This would be the knight's move, again, in relation to this black stone. That can be cut here, so that wouldn't be doing much. Attachment, once again, can be cut. So black is forced to play the diagonal. And this is actually the strength of caps. is you want to treat caps, because this is what that is. That's what this white move is. This is a cap. We are capping this black stone. The point of caps is you want to treat them almost as a detour. So notice, when black goes here, if white had attached here, well, black is going to come out like this. If we just extend like this, though, think of it like this. Black has spent 2 moves to get to the H column, right? To get to where the white stone is. But if we had just attached, black in 1 move gets to that H column. So that's the idea with the caps, is we're trying to make our opponent's movement slow. So black is still behind enemy lines, so we could just extend here. And even if black, let's say Hane's here, we can get this kind of peep, because once again, since we're separating the center from the bottom group, there is some weakness here. So maybe we can peep here. Or maybe we can even just come back, and it's very hard for black to connect because there's a weakness there. So black is creating a weak group in the center, and so black's not alive here in the center. Black still has this cut weakness up top here, and technically the whole upper side doesn't have 2 eyes either. So this would just be like white's just in control here. But so the question is, what did white do instead of separating? White goes here, and this was very confounding to me. It was very perplexing, because this would just allow black to connect. So once again, white could have separated black's group on the bottom, but didn't, and black connected. White could have separated black's group on the top and the upper left, but didn't, and technically there's still a weakness there, but white helped. In 1 move, black is now connected, and same thing here. White just let black connect. And I'm not sure what white was worried about here. Yeah, wedge doesn't work. Because again, even if we just give up 1 stone, we would capture the other side. So I'm not sure what white was worried about here. Okay, so then white comes back and fixes. Black bumps. And especially in fights, and not even fights, but especially in middle game, you got to be willing to give up a few points. So when black plays here, white needs to peep. This is fine. But the question is here, if you're white here, can you still connect if you go elsewhere? And the answer is yes. White can still connect here. So if white does something else, I don't know, something here, even though black can push down here, and it's Sente, we can still connect. And there's no issues here. There's no issues. We have enough liberties. Black's on the second line. Black really can't do much. So, okay, black reduces us by, if this is all Sente, black reduces us by about, 3 or 4 points. But when we block like this, it is strictly Gote. It is strictly Gote here. So, yeah, and again, I played elsewhere, but like if white maybe pokes like this, black has to connect, then peeps like this, right? And now goes after these stones here. Well, again, this is the problem with reducing instead of building. Black hasn't made any points with these stones. So it's not like black's made points. So yeah, it's okay even though black connected technically, because black has made no profit with this reduction. So going here though, if black had just fixed the shape here, again, it's very similar to that position, but yeah, black has a much better shape on the bottom. But black does something different. Black goes here, which pretty much gives white another chance. So white bumps here. Black fixes this shape, and black's trying to create some weakness here because it's actually a shape that doesn't come up that often. But what is the weakness of the dog face? Right? I always talk about the weakness of the knight's move, and if you have the dog face spot, that is the weakness is the jump across. But what is the weakness of the dog face when your opponent has stones nearby? Well, if you've ever met a cute dog, and what is your first instinct when you meet a cute dog? You always want to boop it on the nose. So the weakness of, and I'll show it in a less crowded space here, the weakness of the dog face is here. Again, you need stones in the area to make it work, but it just means like if I block one way, the opponent can go the other way and vice versa. So that is the weakness of the dog face. Again, if this is the nose of the dog, you're booping it on the nose. So yes. So in this shape here, if white, let's just say white connects, we connect, we make this exchange for some reason. Like if you just push like this, white can still connect. If you push like this, white can still connect. But if you boop the dog face, there's no way for white to connect. So there is a weakness here. So white needs to be careful of that. But with that being said, white has time to Atari and then connect like this. Again, keep your opponent separated. Black doesn't have time to go after this weakness when, as we'll see, black's going to die first. Black's going to die first. So even if black can cut here, if we just fix our shape like this, again, black has problems in the center still, so black still cannot separate us. So even if black has to Atari here first, we can maybe peep here next and then connect. And again, black's technically not alive in the center still. We have disconnected black. Black has, once again, a group here to worry about and black's groups up top to worry about. So yes, in the game though, white Ataris and then connects here, allowing black to Atari here, connect, and now we have to fix here because again, that the dog boop is weak now. So black still got to connect, even though white had 2 chances to separate, and white got gote because white initially played c8. So lots of missed chances. Now, how strong or weak do you think the center white formation is? You think it's pretty strong? I would say it's pretty strong. We have not only stones nearby, here and technically over here, we have peeps we can use, and this stone is very weak. I know the stone is very weak because if you just count the liberties, the stone has 2 liberties, we have many more. And another thing to mention about this group here, so remember I was showing if white tries to separate here, black technically, and it doesn't work as well, but black would like to be able to use moves like this to be able to like connect, right? But what that means is if black ever peeps this way, let's say white connect, let's say black ever peeps this way, if, you know, we end up getting the next move, now when we play this move, now black doesn't get this extra sente move here at G13 because black already used up the Aji when black peeped this way. So black has to be careful about touching these stones because it weakens the other side. In the game, though, black does peep here. And again, if white just connects, black has weakened the top side or the upper left. The center is still strong here. There's not much black can do, right? If black does this, we just can push. And yeah, like black is just weaker than we are because we just have more stones in the area with more liberties. So there's quite literally nothing black can do here. Black can Atari like this. Can black go here next? Oh, sorry, go here next? Well, no, because there's a double peep here. Because if I connect, right, there's too many problems. If black tries to fix by going here, well, that peep still is a problem. And even if that wasn't a problem, we can just, again, attack black's shape somehow. Black is just weaker than white is. So, yeah, white just needs to connect here. But in the game, white doesn't even play a block like this, or maybe a counterattack move like this. White just Ataris this black stone like this. This is so passive. This is so passive. Black even extends, though, okay? White peeps, I don't mind that move. Black turns, so this is a good order of moves. So black is trying to get us to respond here, right? Because black's threatening to kill us. Before we do that, though, we should try to live the other direction because now black has to play differently. If we have already lived by going here, K2 is not as forcing. But while we're not alive, black kind of wants to answer this now because then S2 black never got the response to. So if, let's say, black bolts back like this, where we're already alive, we could just play something else, because if black even cuts, right, this is enough space to live. But if black has to cover, well, now maybe we can clamp, like so. If black whether black connects or goes down, if we just pull back like this, well, now this cut works, and then we can come back and connect. But we've made black have to answer right now. Whereas again, later, if I connect now, well, I'm already alive. So if black does something else, well, now black doesn't need to answer this necessarily. So before you live here, just try to eke out every extra forcing move. Okay, white goes here. So black doesn't connect though, black goes here. So it's, again, you can see black kind of knows, or at least it feels like black knows that this game is still not going well. Even though white is making a lot of errors in the fighting, somehow white is still doing okay. And that is just how good of a result white had in the opening. But again, put yourself in white's shoes here. How would you respond to this? How would you respond to this? So kind of like how black, if black played S2, I'm trying to get white to play at Q2, right? I want to be stubborn about that. Well, when I peeped here, I'm trying to get black to play at M4. And so if black hasn't played at M4 yet, I'm going to save the stone. Because, oh, black, you gotta fix here. You have to fix here. And again, I don't know what black's plan was after this, to be perfectly honest. Because again, this cut, black is not alive in this kind of center left side. So I don't know what black was going to do next. But in the game, white pushes up, which again helps black connect. So again, I don't know why white doesn't push this way. White goes here. And then doesn't even come back and play here because, okay, maybe you push to make yourself a little bit stronger. White just fixes here. So black pulls back, and yeah, white pushes from behind. So you can see white, if black had just pushed through here, black has fixed the top side problem. Black has fixed the problem here. Black never played at M4, and white's just running in the center. And so what ends up happening in this game, and we've hit the main points in the game, so I'm going to speed up a little bit. But what ends up happening in this game, somehow, some way, and I'll start with this, there's no way the center white stones die, right? There's no way. Well, as we'll see, and I'll have the game record in the video description, but somehow, some way, white only has one eye. Somehow, some way, white is completely surrounded and about to die with one eye. And again, if you looked back at this game, black had at many points had cuttable groups, had weak groups, had groups that can be attacked, and somehow white failed to pretty much attack any of them. Again, white attacked some of them somewhat, but really white never got that finishing punch or that really great profit. And what ends up happening is white just, spoilers, dies in the center. And the craziest part about all this is, who do you think wins this game after white dies in the center? Like, who do you think right here? Because even with all that being said, it was one liberty. It was one liberty. If white had one extra liberty, white would be able to Atari and then Atari. But white doesn't have that liberty. But who do you think's leading here? Well, white is still leading here because even though black has captured this huge center, black has just spent, look at this. All of black's last moves were inside black's own territory. So black played there, that was inside. Inside, 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 right? So it's not like black's gaining any points here. Black's losing points. So even with everything being said, black is still losing. And so if white just played quote-unquote normal endgame, and this is huge, white would still win this game. But white ends up playing here and just has this stone, cuts here, and this just doesn't work. White plays, yeah, and this just does not work. And because it doesn't work, black was able to capture these two stones, and it was just too much. Even white played this way, which is nice, but technically speaking, like, black didn't have any points on the bottom, so even though white took out black's points in the corner, black made the points back on the bottom side anyways. But yeah, it was just, again, not only did white fail the fighting throughout the game, but even when white still had a chance, white kind of threw it away a little bit with this overextension at R5. So yeah, again, crazy game. White had a lot of chances in this game. Black was throwing so many easy pitches to just hit the home runs in, and white just kept bunting it, foul balling it, just was never capitalizing. So, and with everything being said, it was black by 9.5. Black by 9.5. So with all that being said, it was still a very close game, under 10 points. So yeah, again, I just wanted to highlight this because I'm sure you've had many games, especially against specific opponents that they just kept trying to invade everywhere. They're not taking care of their groups, and you just ask yourself, why? Why can't I kill or attack any of these groups? Well, it starts with one, keeping them separated, pushing them towards their other stones, but then right at the end, cutting them off. And then also looking at where can I profit? Where can I profit as well? Now, in this game, white's profit was actually, I can just kill a lot of these groups, which is the best profit possible. But in other cases, even in this game, when white was attacking the upper left, white was building the left side technically. So even in that sense, white was doing an okay job. But yeah, that's it for this video. Hopefully you learned something from it. If you have any questions, please let me know in the comment section below. And I'll see you all in the next video.